Hello, I'm back again. This is the weekly intelligence review, and it's Monday, 18th May 20. It is Sunday, 26th May. Sunday, 18th May 2026. So this is the review of the my daily intelligence briefing, which was Monday to Friday last week. So I'm welcoming you back again. I'm Frederick Kwakuliaka from Frederick Cybersecurity, and this is your weekly intelligence review. A complete summary of every threat, every breach, and every business lesson that came out of this last week's daily business intelligence brief. If you follow my Monday to Friday on LinkedIn, you already saw each story as it broke. Those who read this video is for you and your leadership team. One place, every story, the full picture of what happened this week, and exactly what it means for your business. This week was one of the most consequential weeks we have seen in 2026. The same criminal group struck multiple sectors simultaneously. Artificial intelligence built its first confirmed zero-day exploit. A cybersecurity firm's own source code was compromised. And regulators from 6 governments issued a warning that most businesses have not yet heard. Let us go through it day by day. Monday. On Monday, we opened the week with a story that was still developing in real time. Shiny Hunters, the same criminal group that has been responsible for some of the largest data thefts of the past 2 years, had breached infrastructure, the company behind Canvas. Canvas is the learning management platform used by over 8,000 educational institutions worldwide. The stolen data covered 275 million students, teachers, and staff, names, email addresses, student identifiers, and private messages between students and teachers, all of it in the hands of a criminal group. And Shiny Hunters had set a deadline, 12th May 2026. The following day, they were demanding a ransom, and the clock was running. But the breach itself was not the most important detail. The most important detail was how they got in. They did not breach a core enterprise system with a sophisticated exploit. They entered through a free tier account, a Canvas free for teacher access point. And from that single low privilege entry, they reached a platform serving 9,000 instructions and 275 million people. That is the business lesson. Free tier access points and monitored third-party accounts. Low privilege credentials that nobody is watching. These are not low risk. They are the doors that attackers are now specifically targeting because organizations do not treat them seriously. The second story on Monday confirmed that this was not an isolated pattern. 2 major United States banks had been breached in April through a single shared third-party vendor. Cushman & Wakefield, a major commercial real estate firm, lost more than 500,000 Salesforce records through the same Shiny Hunters group. IBM X-Force has confirmed that supply chain incidents have quadrupled over the past 5 years. The through line is identical every time. Attackers are not breaking through your front door. Attackers are not breaking through your front door. They are walking through your supplier's back door using valid credentials your supplier gave them. And on Monday, we closed with a warning from 6 governments, CISA and NSA, from the United States, the National Cyber Security Center, from the United Kingdom, and their counterparts from Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Their joint guidance was direct. Agentic artificial intelligence amplifies every existing security flaw in your organization. If your access controls are misconfigured, an AI agent makes that misconfiguration more dangerous. If your oversight is weak, an AI agent operates without checks. Their opposition was not theoretical, it was a warning. Deploy agentic AI incrementally, define what data it can access, and require human approval for consequential actions before you let any AI system act autonomously in your environment. Tuesday. The Google story is the headline of the week. Tuesday brought the expiry of Shiny Hunter's deadline and a revelation that changed the story entirely. Krebs Security confirmed that Tuesday's deadline was not the first time this group had been inside infrastructure systems. It was the third. September 2025 was the initial breach, the proof of concept. The 1st of May 2026 was the production run. The 7th of May, after Instructure had publicly declared containment, was Shiny Hunters demonstrating that the containment had failed. 3 breaches of the same organization in 8 months. The business risk flowing from these 275 million records is specific and immediate targeted phishing. Attackers now hold enough personal detail to craft convincing personalized messages to every person connected to those institutions. If your team interacts with schools, universities, or educational platforms in any capacity, your staff are at an elevated risk of receiving canvas-branded phishing communications that look entirely legitimate. The second story on Tuesday concerned your security vendors, the companies whose tools you rely on to protect your organization. Trellix, a major cybersecurity firm, confirmed that attackers had accessed the source code powering its own security tools. When a security vendor's source code is exposed, that code can be analyzed for weaknesses in the very software that is supposed to be protecting you. Simultaneously, Adobe was breached through a third-party business process outsourcing contractor. 13 million customer support tickets and unpublished vulnerability reports were stolen. One theme ran through every major breach of 2026 that week. Attackers reach organizations through the trusted parties those organizations cannot see. But the story that will define 2026 and possibly this decade came at the end of Tuesday. Google's threat intelligence group confirmed that it had detected and stopped the first zero-day exploit believed to have been developed using artificial intelligence. The exploit bypassed two-factor authentication on a widely used web administration tool. A criminal group had planned to deploy it in a mass exploitation campaign. Google intervened and alerted the vendor before the mass attack could begin. How did analysts identify it as AI generated? The code contained abundant educational comments, the kind of annotations a language model inserts to explain what the code is doing. It included hallucinated vulnerability scores. It was structured in a precise textbook Python style that human criminal coders do not use. These were the fingerprints of a machine-written script. Google's chief analyst described this as the tip of the iceberg. Artificial intelligence has removed the skills barrier to building sophisticated exploits. A criminal group that previously lacked the technical ability to develop a zero-day can now instruct a language model to do it. The window between vulnerability being discovered and an active attack being launched is now shorter than most organizations' patch cycles. Wednesday. The Jenkins story requires no dramatization. Wednesday confirmed that the threat of development toolchains was accelerating beyond what most organizations had planned for. A criminal group called Team PCP backdoored the checkmarks Jenkins security scanning plugins for the third time in 8 weeks. They published the malicious version directly to the Jenkins marketplace with a CVSS severity score of 9.4 near the maximum. Any Jenkins instance that auto-updated around the 9th of May installed credentials stealing malware. The targets were specific GitHub tokens, cloud credentials, Kubernetes configuration files, SSH keys, and API keys. And the attacker left a message on the defaced repository, a direct reference to Checkmark's failure to restore its own secrets after the previous two incidents. If your development pipeline uses Checkmark's Jenkins plugin, the action is not optional. Check your version. If you installed anything after December 2025, rotate every credential on every system where these versions run. Wednesday also brought a resolution of sorts to the Canvas crisis. In structure, the company dealing with this breach confirmed it had reached an agreement with Shiny Hunters. The company claimed the 275 million stolen records had been destroyed. Canvas went back online. These facts must be held alongside that announcement. Shiny Hunters breached in structure 3 times in 8 months. A ransom was implied in the agreement, and there is no technical mechanism to verify that stolen data has actually been destroyed. A criminal group does not delete leverage. The only conclusion that can be drawn is that payment was made in exchange for a claim that cannot be verified, and that does not prevent the group from using that data in future operations. The only exit from this cycle is making your data worthless to steal in the first place through encryption, segmentation, and least privilege access. Negotiation is not a security strategy, it is a temporary pause in someone else's timeline. The third story on Wednesday was a continuation of the toolchain attack. The same team PCP operation had compromised over 170 NPM packages. Confirmed targets included packages from Mistral AI, Turnstack, UiPath, and OpenSearch. The malware in each package stole credentials from cloud providers, artificial intelligence tools, continuous integration systems, and cryptocurrency wallets. AI development tooling is now a primary attack surface, and unverified dependencies represent a live credential risk for any organization building with these tools. That was Wednesday. By Thursday, 3 simultaneous threats had landed across different parts of the technology stack. The first was in email infrastructure. A zero-interaction vulnerability in the Exim mail server was publicly disclosed. Exim handles email routing for a significant share of organizations globally, including many medium enterprises on hosted and self-managed infrastructure. The attack mechanism requires no user action. An attacker with network access sends a malformed TLS sequence and the server's memory is corrupted. There is no click to intercept, no social engineering required. The attack operates at the infrastructure level. The action is straightforward. Confirm whether your organization or your hosting provider runs Exim. If they do, verify that the patch disclosed on Thursday has been applied. If you are hosted, demand written confirmation from your provider that patching is complete. The second story was in developer repositories, a continuation of the toolchain theme that has run through the entire week. Researchers uncovered over 150 malicious Ruby packages seeded into Ruby Gems, the primary package repository for Ruby development. Any system that installed those packages during the relevant window may be silently exfiltrating data right now. This follows the same playbook used previously against NPM and PyPL. Developer tool chains are no longer a secondary concept. They are a primary route into business infrastructure. The third story was on mobile. The trick more banking Trojan, which targets banking applications and cryptocurrency wallets on Android devices, has been updated to route its command and control traffic through the open network blockchain. Standard network monitoring tools cannot see blockchain traffic. The communications between the malware and the attackers controlling it are effectively invisible to conventional detection. Any member of staff accessing corporate banking on a mobile device that has not been enrolled in mobile device management is a potential entry point. Friday closed the week with 2 stories that crystallized exactly where the threat is heading. The first was critical buffer overflow vulnerability in Palo Alto's Pan OS, the operating system that runs their firewall and network security products. The severity was at the top of the scale. An unauthenticated attacker can send crafted packets to an internet-facing Palo Alto device and execute code with full root privileges. No credentials, no user interaction, full system control. By the time the advisory was published on Friday, active exploitation had already been confirmed. If your organization uses Palo Alto devices either directly or through a managed security provider, this patch is not a scheduled maintenance, it is an immediate requirement. The second story demonstrated the speed at which artificial intelligence is compressing the exploitation timeframe. A missing authentication flow was disclosed in Praise on AI, an AI agent framework used by organizations to deploy and manage AI workflows. From the moment the vulnerability was publicly disclosed to the moment it was actively exploited in the wild, 4 hours. Anyone who could reach the server could trigger workflows without credentials whatsoever. 4 hours, that is the window your organization had to patch before attackers were already in the door. And to close the week, research published across 40 international artificial intelligence models reached the finding that every business leader deploying AI in any capacity must understand. All but 4 of the 40 models tested were more likely to give a confident, incorrect answer than a correct one when facing difficult or ambiguous questions. As artificial intelligence takes on advisory roles in security operations, flagging threats, recommendations, responses, assessing risks, and verified AI outputs are not a productivity concern. They are a direct business liability. If your organization is using AI to inform security decisions, every recommendation that system generates must be reviewed by a human before action is taken. A confident AI output is not a verified output. So, when you look at this week as a whole, one pattern is unmistakable. The attacker's advantage in 2026 is speed. Artificial intelligence builds exploits. Criminal groups deploy them in hours, not weeks. Organizations that auto-update without verification install malware. Platforms that pay ransomware confirm they will pay again. And the entry points, the free tier accounts, the third-party vendors, the unmonitored developer dependencies, the unmanaged mobile devices are multiplying faster than most security programs are designed to monitor. The response that works is not reactive, it is structural. Know every system your organization depends on. Know every third party that touches your data. Know every credential that has access to your environment. And treat every AI output as unverified until a human confirms it. The organizations that came through this week without incident are not the ones with the most sophisticated tools. They are the ones that already knew the answer to these 4 questions. So that is your weekly intelligence review for the week of Monday 11th May to Friday 15th May 2026. Every story in this review was published in real time throughout the week in my daily business intelligence brief on LinkedIn. If you are not yet subscribed, the link is in the description and across all my platforms. If this review is useful to you, share it with any person in your organization who carries security responsibility. That is how we close the intelligence gap for medium enterprises. I'm Frederick Wakuliaka from Frederick Cybersecurity. I will see you when I'm online, when I put out a video. And I'll see you tomorrow in the daily brief. And I'll see you here again when I am online with my summary of the weekend intelligence brief and the AI business and the AI security, this breach report, AI breach report summary. So take care of your business. Take care of your business.